Good morning once again, everybody. This is Rich with High Percent Trading. Thanks for joining us. We're going to show today the three markets that we've been following using the accelerator method of trading in the pit open session. That pit open session today in crude oil was between 9 and 10 a.m. Eastern. And over in the equities, which we're going to show after this, it actually got extended by 15 minutes today because we had an ISM report, a major report today that came out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So that pit session was 9:30 a.m. until 10:15 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to show all those trades. The good news is every one of these pit sessions again was profitable, trading these setups, trading this approach. And this now marks the 44th consecutive pit session now that have been profitable in these markets. So let's take a look at crude oil. First of all, here's the first trade in crude oil. It was a long trade that this indicator, the accelerator indicator through the octopus, which is filtering a number of nice filters in here, taking the momentum type trade, signaled a nice long here. If you had held it through a runner, you had over 60 ticks on one runner. Now notice there was a second trade entry here. This is the second arrow along the trade setup. Now depending on where your scalp was, you may or may not have gotten your scalp target out here. If you used a tight stop, you did get stopped out here of this second re-entry, but this is the very important trade that's always taught on this, and this is what we do day in and day out. This is called the bite out of the apple, second bite out of the apple entry here. Even though we didn't get an arrow, it's still an entry that you have to take in order to be successful. So this trade then went on for between another 12 to 14 ticks in profit to the upside before your runner got stopped out. Now notice we follow what's called the 2-arrow rule, which means we're not going to take any trades in the direction of the same trend with the same arrows. We already had arrow 1 and arrow 2, so we would have ignored this trade, and more importantly, this also brought us beyond our first hour window period on the pit session. If you recall, what I mentioned was that the pit session was going to be 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific. This chart showing Pacific. So these additional trades past the 7 a.m. Are not part of the pit session either. So for both of those reasons, neither one of these trades were accelerator type trades during the pit session. So again, very nice and profitable. Not many trades in crude. Again, today in the pit session, just 2 trade entries, but they worked out nicely. So again, those of you who were trading the crude oil or following that, some very nice trade setups for some very nice profits in the pit session open. Let's take a look at the equities now. All right, here's the Russell contract, and here's our pit open right here at 6:30 a.m. Now, if you notice, if we look back, following the 2-arrow rule, we already had 2 arrows in the up direction here, this one and this one. So we're not looking at taking any more of these trades to the long side on this sequence because we're following the exact rules. And our first trade entry was here. It was short. That was around 6:33. A nice short trade, came all the way down to the bottom of the band here. That was about 18 ticks on a runner if you manage that runner. There was a second entry here. This was the second arrow in the sequence. This one did not qualify as far as a profit or scalp, so this one would have gotten stopped out, but you had the nice trade here with the stop out here. And then notice what happened. We then had a long trade entry here. Now depending on where your stop was, if you had a very tight stop, say right under here, you would have gotten hit on it. But again, this was the second bite out of the apple trade right here. You'd get long again, came all the way up into this phantom area here for another good 16 ticks or so of profit on a runner. And then notice we came back down again This would have been your second bite out of the apple trade here. A nice scalp, able to get anywhere between 7 to 9 ticks on a scalp. No runner, but then back in again on this one. This is the second bite out of the apple. This also triggered a trade entry, and then back up to the upside again here, testing the plateau at the top. Another good 20 or so ticks if you held the runner into here. Now, notice we had additional trade arrows here and here and here, but again, we adhere to and follow the 2-arrow rule, which means that we're not going to take any more trades other than 2 arrows in a row. That does not count though for second bite out of the apple. Okay, so this trade right here, even though this is a 3rd arrow, was a second bite out of the apple trade in here. And then we did have an ISM report today, so because of that, we extended our time to run another 15 minutes. You can see the next trade setup was right here short, just right very near the release of that report. A nice short trade that came down. This was your second re-entry here. If you went with a tight stop, you got taken out. But again, by now, if you've been following this, this is called the second bite out of the apple. Second bite out of the apple off this trade entry. That's your re-entry right here. And this trade went on to make a very large amount of profit. The entry on this trade was right around the 1201.50 area. This market eventually moved down to around the 1194 area. That's about 60 ticks in profit on a runner. So that brought us to the first 45 minutes again of our trade. A lot of you that were trading the Russell with this approach, profitable on your session, very nicely profitable. Now let's look at our Nasdaq, which was even more profitable today than the Russell. All right, here's our Nasdaq market. Notice here's our pit open right here at 6:30. So the first trade entry that we had using the accelerator was a short trade right here. Again, using a tight stop, you would have gotten stopped out on the trade. But then this second setup is the second bite out of the apple right here. That's our trade setup here. So nice short coming down for a good 12, 14 ticks of profit. Second bite of the apple does not count for our second arrow. So we're looking for a second arrow trade. That's right here. Again, if you took the short and if your stop was not above the band here, which is a more liberal stop, and we've talked about this before, if it was a tight stop, it got hit. But then again, what was this? Second bite out of the apple again. Okay, second bite out of the apple trade here. Pretty much repeating what the first one did, come down into the plateau, down into the phantom area, good profit taking area again for about another 16 to 18 ticks. Then notice, flip to a long trade here and your re-entry trade here, and this was just a total home run as far as the Nasdaq was concerned. If you held this, this market went up a huge amount. First entry level right around the 46.89 area. When we moved up into the plateau up here, this moved all the way up to 47.09. That's roughly 20 handles. That's 80 ticks on a runner if you were fortunate enough to manage it and hold it all the way. But again, that was entry number 1. This was entry number 2. Following the 2-arrow rule, we're ignoring all of these trades in here. Even though most of them worked, we're not taking that. That's not part of what we cover. And then again, because of the report, got extended another 15 minutes today. We had a short trade here at 7:05, came right down into the phantom area, and then this beautiful re-entry trade right here, second arrow in the same direction, and a huge collapse to the downside in the market. Again, right around the 47.0250 area for entry, all the way back to the 46.82 area. Again, that is 20 handles. That's another 80 ticks to the downside. So what you were looking at here was a phenomenal day in Nasdaq. You had about an 80 tick runner to the upside, and then shortly a little bit later, another 80 tick or so runner to the downside. And that's the type of linear movement that you can get when you get these major reports. And that's why we extend the pit open session using the accelerator method to the additional 15 minutes after those major reports. So again, I think you can see the pit open sessions again, the way that we've been trading them for the last month and a half, showing it. Again, successful, all profitable, kept the string intact, 44 straight pit open sessions in a row using these approaches. And the second item that you need to come away with again is that second bite out of the apple trade. It's extremely important. You need to be able to take the second bite out of the apple, because most times, I would say 70 to 75% of the time, the initial trade entry is a good one, but because of tight stops, the market will generally come back, check the level, check the stop, and then reverse and continue. So that is a key component to being a successful trader day in and day out, and making profits day in and day out on your sessions, is that second bite out of the apple trade, the way it's taught. Well, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching. Come join us if you can. If you have not taken a trial yet, please do so. You can go to the website. I'll show that, where you can sign up and come in. So let me pull that up for everybody. All right, this is the Hypercent Trading website. If you have not had a free trial yet of these really great indicators and systematic approaches, just come to the free trial download. Click on the page here. It'll take you to a sign-up form. It's very quick and painless, just a little bit of information, and you can fill that out. Also, notice that if you'd like to come in this week, we do have an open session tomorrow in the live markets analysis room. That's 9:20 to 11 a.m. Eastern. You can register for that. We have another open session on Thursday here at 1:30 Eastern, and then you're welcome to come to the Saturday one as well. But the rest of these now are pretty much members only. So I want to thank everybody for watching again, and hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day. Bye now.